Hello and welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. Tonight, I want to talk to you about a guy by the name of Timothy Hughart. I hope I'm saying it's Hughart. He's currently 34 years old. As a young man, Timothy went to prison in the Ohio Department of Corrections. I believe it was on burglary charges, and during that time joined a white prison gang. Eventually, he would become disillusioned with the gang. The reason he joined in the beginning was because he respected some of the elders, but for whatever reason he became disillusioned and no longer saw or believed in their beliefs. Skipped some years, gets a little bit older. Definitely a drug user on and off. He eventually gets arrested with a gun and goes to federal prison. While in federal prison, somebody had showed him the Constitution, and he was not political whatsoever. At that time, somebody showed him the Constitution and showed him that the Second Amendment says that citizens of the United States have the right to bear arms. Now, it does in fact say that, and there's actually a case making its way through the court system right now that has to do with felon in possession of firearms, which I believe that was his original case. Matter of fact, I know it was. And there's been a judge that ruled that it's unconstitutional for a felon of the law in general. However, so let me keep going here. I'm a little bit. I'm trying to watch what I say here for different reasons. I got to go ahead and interject right now and say this. Interject. Am I saying the word? Inject. Some might think this is about something to do with mental illness. By no means is Timothy crazy, meaning crazy as in like doesn't know what he's talking about. He's very passionate, and I have seen some inmates get radicalized on politics. I would make an argument that when I first made my had my political awakening back in 2007, about when the Obama years when Obama was running, and I discovered Sarah Palin and conservatives and stuff. I didn't get radical as I could lose my mind, but I definitely took a far-right pill. When you start looking at your life and seeing right from wrong, as I did back in 2007 when I got clean, and I started becoming kind of self-righteous, kind of like, I can't believe other people are using drugs. I was kind of becoming preachy about, being clean and stuff like that. But when you look inside yourself and you think you're like, oh, I'm a good person, I just had a drug addiction problem and I overcame it, you can start seeing the world from a different view. Let me put it that way. Okay, but let me get on with the story. So, Timothy went ahead and the guy told him about the Constitution. He kind of got really involved with that, getting frustrated, like, why am I even here? I have had talks with them, and I told them, yeah, the Constitution says that, but if you read further, it gives the states right to make laws, the federal government a right to make laws, and then they made these laws, felon in possession of firearm, and so forth. So it's not just so cut and dry as the Second Amendment. But he's really fixated on the fact that of the Second Amendment and the Constitution in general, okay? So he's been involved in the political, he's had a political awakening, I should say, for a couple years now. Now, while he was in federal prison serving time on his gun charge, and that's during the time that he read the Constitution and stuff, he then goes to a halfway house. I think his original sentence was 3 years, and he leaves the halfway house. I don't remember the exact reason why, but I believe he did, and then he ended up getting hit with an escape charge. So he ended up doing an escape charge, got out. I think he didn't do it more than 5 years in total, and was put on federal supervised release for 3 years. Well, he felt, in his own words, under this corrupt administration, that he shouldn't be on federal supervised release. And I hope I'm saying that right, because he's not here, or I would go back and check. I've got a paper with notes in front of me. But he definitely believes that the Biden administration is corrupt, and he doesn't believe that that's his president. And he's a really Trump hardliner, super into MAGA support, and he's reached out to all the alliances before he got locked up. And what I mean by that is, let me get this list. He's reached out to the Alliance, MAGA, Sons of Liberty, Daughters of Liberty, Daughters of the American Revolution, the ADF, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, the Defenders of the Constitution, and the National Sheriff's Association. So, and I'm not, when I say reached out to them, he's been in contact with a lot of these groups, and even the Trump campaign, and got a lot of feedback from one of the Trump's campaign's managers. And anyway, so he didn't follow supervised release, and eventually he got arrested. During his first arrest, he went to court. The magistrate did let him out on a detention, or on a bond, I guess you'd say. And the marshals came back and arrested him again for the same thing. And on the third time, I'm not going to say it was a standoff. He didn't come right out, but when he did come out, the neighbors had cameras, and he was yelling, call my people, which is the MAGA people, tell them that they're arresting me illegally, because he believed that he shouldn't have ever been arrested on the gun charge. And I hope I'm saying that correct, and to his wife, too, who I know is going to listen to this. I need to say right now that what is Trump's social media site? The Truth. So if you look up Timothy Hughart, he's got a site on there. He made some recordings from this prison not long ago, if you want to listen to him talk in his own voice. Now, here's what happened. Last week, they told him he was getting transferred. And he came up with the plan, and I'm not going to go into the detail, but let's just say that he came up with a plan where he wanted to be heard. Let me watch what I say. It didn't go down according to how he planned. He did plan, during this plan, he believed that he was going to be able to talk to the governor, some other people, and I know people are going to go say right there, the guy's crazy, but he did believe, and he had I can't put it out there because it didn't end up turning out that way, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. But let me read what he sent me right before he got locked up. He wanted me to read this. He was going to come on the show and do it himself, but he ended up getting transferred. This is what he said. I can no longer stand by idle with the knowledge I have and accept anything other than being united with like-minded men who are also willing to defend the amazing country and our citizens and border and the Constitution. I am 100% dedicated to the USA and will not be spending my time literally rotting away in a United States penitentiary cell somewhere while my family and our country is literally in danger. Enough is enough. I had committed no crime, and I have been a changed man for a long time. I no longer have any trust whatsoever in due process and refuse to lead my family life in an erratic and corrupt, egocentric, I think is the word, and corrupt bureaucrats. I have been wronged over and over and over, and my rights violated over and over and over, with nobody being held accountable. I have been watching my loved ones struggling and being blackmailed and oppressed for so long. If the judge would have taken 5 minutes to fact check my case, he would understand exactly why I refused supervised release and where I was coming from. What they literally need me, when they literally need me there to protect them from the evil and corruption that has overrun our country. I am 100% innocent of any crime, and I would meet my maker before I accept any time in this most important world, where our borders have been overrun and invaded, where women are being attacked randomly in all the cities, where terrorists are out in the streets chanting "Death to America, Death to America." A country that has 100,000 Chinese military-aged men crossing our border a year. A country where the president purposely allows it. The reason that is why, under Article 3, Section 3, I invoked Article 4, Section 6, Invasion Clause, and I and other good men deserve and have the right to defend our country and family and our from being invaded. And from being invaded. There's nearly not enough time on paper to explain, but I refuse to accept a system where Hunter Biden has gun and drug charges and never held accountable. Well, he actually is now, from what I see on the news. We'll never see a cell where supervised vet enhanced weapons. We'll never see a cell for weapons charges then I get a bogus Class C violation, and I get double time for literally being at my mom's house. So let me say this real quick. So what happened was, when they came, he had a kind of a standoff with the marshals. He said he wasn't going to go to prison and that he did nothing wrong. Well, when the judge sentenced him, they actually gave him 8 extra months in prison. I think he was doing 21 months. And the marshals wrote a note and said what they saw was somebody that was turning more and more extreme by every encounter. They believe he's a danger to society. They believe that he was trying to start some kind of a revolution along with some Trump supporters. And he did say in the courtroom that didn't matter what the judge was going to give him, that Trump was going to pardon him on January the 6th. He believes that, and he wholeheartedly believes that. Again, people might think he's crazy. He has been in contact with other people. I observed a guy who, on the surface, is not crazy. I know maybe somebody might disagree with this. He's passionate about what he believes in. The part that I can say, and that the guards who were involved in the incident I'm about to tell you about, where they kind of lost him, is that he did believe like that there might be people, some of these MAGA supporters or Trump supporters, or people, like-minded men that might be outside the gate waiting for him after he talked to the governor, and that they would then take him and they were all going to go to the border and help defend the border, which it gets a little off in the left field. However, what he's saying, if you really look at it, and I know there's going to be a bunch of people criticizing. I already know it. Again, go listen to his own social media stuff. I felt this guy is a prisoner. I'm putting this out there because he just wants to be heard, and he wants to be heard on a bigger platform than he had, and I was going to give it to him. I was going to let him do it himself. Well, what ends up happening is, instead of doing what he said he was going to do or thought he might be able to pull off while he was being transported out, he basically held himself hostage in the shower. Now, for people that have been in prison, they know when you strip out, when you're getting transferred, instead of stripping out he did, he was in the process of stripping out, that he told them, I'm not going anywhere. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm not leaving unless, and I don't know what happened. He wanted a phone call, I think, he had a list of people he wanted a phone call with to talk to, because he feels like he's wrongly in here. I should say here that his attorney didn't file an appeal, and his attorney 100% should have, just based on the upward variance. The attorney just kind of just wrote him off. I guess they brought him out. They drug him out of the courtroom when he started saying that Trump was going to pardon him. And by the way, in case people don't know, Trump has said that he was going to pardon anybody that was involved in January the 6th. He did not say he was going to pardon everybody that supported him. Okay, but Trump made clear that everybody that's incarcerated right now in the feds, that I believe the sentence will be commuted and or pardoned. That pardoned is people that have already done their time. So that's coming. I do believe if Trump gets enough, that's going to come. Well, he felt like he's in that crowd because he has been in direct contact with the Trump administration or the campaign. And I'm going to tell you something. I have in the past been in contact with members of Congress and the Senate.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I do know when people are just getting cover letters or...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
But he receives... So I know the difference. He was in contact with somebody from the Trump administration or the Trump camp, whatever. And I know the name, but I'm not going to put it out there. Okay. So anyway, what ends up happening ultimately is they got the Goon Squad, Ninja Turtles, which is a SWAT team, and they said, you're going to get on the bus or we're going to shoot you. He read them a letter, kind of like the one I have now, and ultimately they stripped him naked, and he's left, and he's probably locked down somewhere in a USP or on a way to the USP. I actually talked to his wife yesterday, and he's in transit. Anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. It's something, one man's quest to be heard. Take care.